Hello, everybody. Welcome to launch day. Yes, we made it. We made it. We made it. Oh my gosh. I'm speechless, actually. No, I know exactly what to say. Don't I always? Wow. Thank you so much for being here on launch day. Wow, we have taken a lot of steps to get to this day, and you have been with us the entire time. Thank you for sticking it out, for coming with us, for joining us this far. Thank you, Kira, for joining us. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you, Todd. That was so awesome.
Was that awesome?
That was awesome. I'm wearing my official book launch muumuu.
Your finest muumuu.
My finest muumuu for today.
Awesome. Well, it is so great to have you, and I want to take a moment to thank everyone who has been a part of this thus far. Everyone who has posted their review. I know it's early on launch day, but I want to thank the people who I know have already submitted their reviews and or already posted their reviews. So these reviews haven't been posted yet, but they've told me that they've posted their reviews, so I know that they've done it, and they gave me a screenshot or whatever. So Chris Workman, thank you. Nikki Kaburlis, Carrie Glazer, Laura Rudisil said she downloaded the book. I assume that means she posted a review as well. Linda Ballesteros, same. And all the reviews who have already been posted and downloaded and posted, I want to thank April Chambers. I want to thank Beth Eiglarsh. Actually, hers hasn't posted yet, but I'm thanking her because I know she did it. I'm making myself a list to make sure that I thank people. Thank you, April. Thank you, Janet Zavala. Thank you, Tammy Coyne. Thank you, Gigi Rush. Thank you, Joe McMonigal. And thank you, Georgia Ryle. So awesome.
Yay!
So, if you downloaded the book, thank you so much. That's appreciated. That's good enough. If you're writing a review also, thank you for that as well. That even helps the book even more. So I want to thank you for that too.
Yeah, these reviews are like long-term, like they stay there forever, so they are incredibly important. As a matter of fact, if you can get to 50 reviews on a book, Amazon picks it up and it really starts to move it through their system. So, if we can make that goal this week of 50 reviews, that would be incredible. So keep doing it. I love it. It's great.
That's definitely the goal. And I hope we're on track for that. I really do. So,
great.
I've definitely talked to more than 50 people for this.
Yeah. And it can take 72 hours for it to post. So, unless you get a nasty gram, usually it just takes a minute. And if you get a nasty gram, that's okay. We do have a Goodreads link for this book. So, don't feel like you don't get to participate. And you can do a Goodreads review even if you don't, even if you do an Amazon review too. So that also helps with getting the book out there. And I can post that Goodreads link in the comments.
Put it in the comment here. And yes, thank you. And we have a special guest. You'll never guess who. We have Dr. Sally.
Dr. Sally.
Hey.
Hey.
Hi.
Hi.
It's so exciting to share this day with you guys. I've been counting down, and I'm so glad to just get a chance to celebrate with you guys.
We are happy to have you.
It's
special.
Pleasure.
I'm so thankful for your availability because a lot of these things we've done have been kind of last minute, and you've been totally willing and able to do it. So I'm very thankful for you in that regard.
I wouldn't miss celebrating this together for the world. You know, this I think is such a wonderful offering. I'm happy we were able to make it work. So thank you for your flexibility as well.
Thank you. Awesome. And yeah, thank
Yeah,
you.
It was like last night. It was 10 o'clock, 9 o'clock, and it was like, what were we doing? And Todd was like, is it too late? So
No.
and he texted you, and I was like, that is incredible that we were able to pull this together
Totally.
sort of at the last minute and be able to be with you today. It's just always a pleasure to see you and be with you.
Oh, likewise.
Absolutely. I want to give a shout out to Kim Padratz. Hi, Kim.
Kim.
Hi, Kim.
And Carson McDonough.
Hi,
who's
Carson.
loving your book launch, Moo, Kara.
That's right.
And we do
Yes,
have the link posted.
I have to be very relaxed on this day. So the first book we ever published was called Happy Thoughts Playbook. And it was a memorial book. It was for a friend. It was near and dear to my heart. It took me a year to produce it because I was so afraid, you know, and so I get that feeling that we all, us authors, get, you know, when we are faced with actually putting something out into the world. And so yeah, I just remember I was like, you know what, I'm going to do something really special, and I'm going to I got one of those you know, those timeshare things where they try to sell you on something. I'm a tourist. I'm going to find a free vacation somewhere, right? Okay. And so I go to Sedona to do this timeshare nonsense, and they give you 2 free nights or whatever. And I was like, I'll do that on launch day. And I was like, that was the worst thing that I've ever done because I couldn't sleep. I was in a weird bed, you know, and then I was freaked out because I had all the wrong categories and nothing was happening the way it was supposed to, and you know, all this kind of stuff. So I remember, Laura will remember this, Laura Rudisell, because she commented on it. She was in the first book, and I was like, I'm exhausted. I don't know what I'm doing, you know. And so now I just have to wear a muumuu the first day so I can just relax into it and just allow it to unfold the way it's supposed to. And so with all of you guys' support and your efforts that you've put in here, you know, today, and reading the book previously, and, you know, giving us comments, giving us feedback, giving us your thoughts and feelings, like all of that has contributed to making this book really amazing. So I wanted to put that out there as well.
Thank you.
I love that you did. I'm sorry, Todd, go ahead.
No. Go ahead. I didn't have anything.
I love that you put that out there. There's so much in that I think really captures the sense of what this, you know, what launch day means, right? And sort of feels like here's this moment of I'm going to care for myself, but this is not the way, right? And just sort of taking that shot, taking that risk. And now, as I do, I often give this metaphor of like if you're driving and you come around a corner that you can't see around, we don't just kind of barrel through. I hope not anyway. I don't.
No, I don't.
I'm like, glad you don't.
I'm a grandma driver, big time.
and so what do you do, right? Like there's a value in that, right? We don't just like park right there, get out and go see what, you know, what's on the other side of the corner. What we do is we slow down and we look around and we check in with ourselves to see like, what is it that I need to do here, right? As we gather more data, as we come around that corner and we start to see what there is, we're making intentional decisions. The little one is going to join us for that for a moment.
That's okay. I love the baby.
Thank you. And so that's what I'm hearing as you set foot on this vacation. Nope, this is not what I need. I need something, but this is not the way. And so as I'm noticing like what's happening for me, like I need comfort, I need soothing things, I need to feel like I can ease into it throughout the day, but I also need the support of others around me, right? So getting to kind of share and connect. Also just acknowledging the vulnerability of putting something out there, right? Which this is today for you guys. And owning that, right? Like allowing yourself the grace to experience that and to feel that and need the things that you do. So I love it. And I love that it's a celebration of that rather than this apologetic, like, yeah, I got this moo going on. No, you're rocking it and it looks wonderful. And I love, Todd, that you pointed out the link is included. I'm actually going to go find the link too. So thank you for that.
Awesome. Thank you for the comments. Also, hello, Carson. We said hello to you already, but now that you're here, hello, hello.
Hi there.
She's in, she's one of our newest authors. She's in Guided by Spirit, and she is going to be in Synchronicity, which is our new collaboration book offering out at asyouwishpublishing.com/we-write. So if you want to join us, that would be awesome.
And if you haven't seen the book, here it is. Woo!
Hey.
Beauty. What a beauty.
What a beauty.
Just
quite a beaut.
It's just a beaut. If the book is now available for purchase, if you wanted to buy a print copy, and obviously it's available for free download during our promotional period, which is September 17th through the 21st. That's when you want to download your free ebook Kindle version. And you want to click buy with one click, not read for free. Okay.
We're not obligated to sign up for Kindle Unlimited at all.
You do not have to sign up for Kindle Unlimited. I think that there's two buttons on the right-hand side of people's screens, and it'll say buy for one click. Yes, do that. And then there's a read for free. Do not do that. Okay. And then you can post your review after that. That'll create a verified purchase and then just post your review. Again, even if you just download the book, it helps the book, right? So you can have anybody you want join in the fun during our promotional period and just download the book. Even if they don't write a review, that's totally fine. Obviously, writing a review is also very helpful. So that's that. Here is the book. We also have signed copies available. So there's a link on the page. I think we'll put a link in the comments too. You can get a signed author copy from me and Kira. It's not expensive. We'll just pop our signatures in there and mail it off to you. Then you've got a signed copy for this amazing book, because this one is going to get some exposure. There's going to be a lot of people who see this book on Amazon, not just in our little circles here, but on Amazon. This book is getting a pretty big launch. So we're excited for launch.
I can't find that link, Todd, if you want to find that.
I'm going to go ahead and post that link for all of us.
Thanks. Can you also do it in the comments here for the on the back office? Awesome.
I sure will.
Because I do want to say this. There is an Audible version of this book as well, AI generated. Very exciting, very exciting. But I'm not sure because we have it set up so that if you buy the ebook, then you get a discount, a hefty discount, 80% off on the Audible version. But I don't know. And if somebody wants to check this for me, if you've already downloaded the ebook, it was only $2 for Audible, Kim says. Yay! So okay, so here's the cool deal. All right, so if you have Audible, right, already, and you don't want to use your credit or, whatever, if you download the ebook, then you can get the Audible version for 80% off, which brings it down to $1.99 for the Audible version. So you don't have to pay for the ebook. That's totally free just this week. And you can get $1.99 for the Audible version.
Wow. That is fantastic.
Yeah.
Cool.
That is very exciting because I didn't know they were going to do that. Sorry, Sally. I'm sorry.
No, you're absolutely fine. And I think that says a lot that like you didn't know they were going to do that. And my recommendation is for people to download the book this week, right? Download the free book. You'll have Audible. So you have it on the go. You can kind of listen. You can go back through pieces. But then why not also get the signed copy, right? To just kind of share that you've been a part of this process, because this isn't just a resource, it's also an expansion in the whole community of holistic business owners. And what a wonderful way to just have a representation of your part in that. So my recommendation, go for that download. You'll have Audible for a steal and get that signed copy as well, just to kind of commemorate that you're a part of this creation. You're a part of this expansion.
You were part of the launch.
Yeah.
Thank you, Sally.
Launch.
And having that the audiobook available is so easy. I know how busy people are, and I mean, I know myself, and I'm always listening to. Thank you, Carson.
Thank you.
I'm always listening to some kind of ebook or something on Audible or YouTube kind of thing. So it's so it's so easy to listen to something when you're in transit doing something, or when I'm in the gym or walking or anything like that, or even in the grocery store. I'm usually listening to something, some kind of an Audible audiobook or something on YouTube. So it's the amount of time the amount of content you can get through just in your transiting time is a lot, right? Whereas when you're reading, you have to sit down and read it, right? And that could be good for a number of different situations, right? In the restroom or going to sleep or anything like that. When you really want to focus, then you can read the book. But otherwise, you got the audio book, and you can just listen to it pretty much any time in the car, even, right? And that, man, I was listening to John Maxwell the other day, and it was so awesome. That, he's one of my favorites. And I realized after about a week, after a couple of days even, I had gotten through like 6 hours of this 10-hour audiobook. And I was like, dang, look how much content I got through just from listening to this in my downtime on the treadmill or when I'm in between. So totally worth it to get the Audible book, and it's totally cheap. And during this promotional period right now, I highly recommend it. You'll get through a lot more content with listening to audiobooks.
Yeah, I love this. I love what Carson says here. I like to say I read with my ears and write with my mouth.
Yeah.
It's true.
I love
do the same. I do the same. Like even with the guy, I did an article for the guided book, and I was like, I laid down and I put my phone on my chest, and I just recorded myself into my phone, and then I just took that, transcribed it. I have a program, I can do it in the back, in the back office way. And you can do it on Word now. And I think there's other programs that let you do that. And I just put it in there, copy edited, take out the stuff I didn't want. It just made things so much easier. So I'm with you, Carson, all the way. Oh.
There's a lot to be said for that. And I think also we process differently when we're writing versus when we're listening versus when we're speaking, right? So there's a lot in that. And that's one reason I love that you guys have it available in these different ways, so that we can kind of process differently. Especially, there are elements of this that are very emotional to kind of take in, and very healing for us to kind of process. And there's also aspects of it that are very clear-cut, actionable items. So I think it's really valuable, this promotional period's giving you an option for both. We didn't mention being able to physically hold a book, right? But there is, like, those of us, like myself included, that are kinesthetic learners. We have to handle something. We have to kind of go through a physical process with it. And so there's nothing like a physical book in front of you, or being able to kind of navigate in that way, or make notes and write. So I love that all of those pieces are accessible in this way. So
yeah, I'm a highlighter.
Are you? Yeah.
Highlight. I'm like, whether I'm understanding it or I'm understanding it too well.
Yes.
I got to remember that for later, how that's said. I remember I took one of Todd's books, the Florence Scovel Shinn, The Game of Life. And I think I thought it was my book. And I was like, I'm just going to highlight everything. And he was like, what'd you do to my book?
Yeah, I think it was a copy of Course in Miracles.
Mm-mm. No, it was a Shin book.
Sure.
Believe
Okay.
me, I remember. So I was so mortified that I was like, oh no, I think I thought it was mine and didn't realize.
Yeah.
But
Not a big deal. I'm a big highlighter too.
yeah.
So yeah,
Yes.
it helps a lot. It does help with your retention. Even taking notes from what you read
Mhm.
really, oh man, it engages more brain processes. So it does enhance your memory to take notes, to highlight things like that. So I
Question for
love
you,
that.
Sally. So you wrote the foreword
I did.
for Butts and Seeds too. And you know, what makes that whole process easier for you as a forward writer? Because, you know, I think that's one of the big things that a lot of authors are curious about. You know, how do I get a forward writer? How do I approach them? Was there anything that we did that was particularly helpful, or that Todd did, because he's the one that primarily reached out to you, to make that whole process easier?
What a wonderful question. First of all, I was really honored, and I was very humbled at the request. And I think a big part of what stood out was that it was very clear how meaningful this project was. I'm going to call it for a project for a moment, because to me the way it came across was that this is a creation from your hearts, but also from your knowledge base, for a community that you not only identify with, but are connected to. And so that came across, and it made it more meaningful for me. And Todd, also, you talked a little bit about like why you were approaching me for this, and that was impactful to me, right? That there's a sense of, you know, we're asking you, not just we need a forward, so someone step in here. Why not you? And
That
and
doesn't feel very special, does it?
yeah, and it really didn't feel very special, but more importantly than that, there's a sense of co-creation here, right? Not that I'm taking authorship at all, but there's sort of this sense of this is like a baby you're nurturing, and how awesome that I can sort of help people see why this needs to be looked at, and why this project is not just a set of words to look at, and not just a resource. You know, my thoughts would be intentional about who you'd like to have introduce and help set a tone for what it is that you're bringing into that world. Because of course, like you said, Kira, it is very vulnerable to put something out into the world. And so not only being intentional about like, who is it that's going to intro this, but what's the tone that's here? I also knew Todd is a phenomenal copy editor, and I knew that, you know, he wouldn't allow it to be something awful. So that really felt very good to me, that he would have eyes. And I think also just this sense of, you know, there were a couple of pieces that you gave me, Todd, that were concrete, that helped me really kind of move from, oh my gosh, create this thing out of blank page with nothing on it, to, okay, well, this is where we can go, like word count, for example. And some of those logistics were helpful for me, because I have those moments of deer in headlights now, breathe, calm down, and now we can go forward. And so having that really helped to shorten that process for me. But the biggest thing, you know, that sense of like, why is this meaningful for you? And why is it meaningful for me to be a part of this process? And so, you know, those would be my recommendations for authors thinking about that. And then if there are questions of like, well, how do I go about this? Be prepared to just kind of look at those together, whether it's resources. So thank you, Todd, for that, or just sort of a sense of what you'd like to experience, or for readers to experience with it.
I'm feeling another like blog post, Todd. Maybe that would be a good topic for authors who are looking for forward writers, you know, for their books.
You got it.
I think that would be
Done.
wonderful, because Todd, it actually has inspired me for solo book, to approach my mentor, to possibly write the forward for my book. So Kira, I think you're on target. So beautifully done, Todd.
Thank you. Yeah, and it's good to, I mean, any forward is nice, but yeah, I can make a blog post about it. But you want to go for somebody who can contribute something, who you know, ideally has a little bit of authority and relevance to why they can say something about the book. Like maybe they've accomplished something in the field that you're writing about, right? Or you know, they're just they have the right credentials that kind of speak to the validity of the book. Those are great reasons to write it, you know. Or in some cases, you know, maybe they're a celebrity, right? If you're really reaching high, you could go after someone like that, right? Or if you happen to know somebody who's willing to do that. Obviously, celebrity status or a well-known author would be a huge benefit to your book. It's kind of like giving their blessing to the book, as it were. But yeah, as long as they are someone who can speak to the validity of the book, you know, it typically won't be like a peer, like someone who is at the exact same level, but you can do that. But you know, it can be someone who just is appreciating the book and is, you know, at the sort of at the same level as you, because it's an endorsement at the end of the day. But ideally, they have something extra to contribute, you know. In Sally's case, you know, she definitely, you know, having put her on a pedestal, it was easy to ask for the forward because I mean, she's already up there, you know. So, but like I said before, she has her foot in both worlds, the traditional and the holistic, and that's definitely, and she's an amazing person on top of that. So, in Puds and Seeds too, what I was trying to do, what we were trying to do was to marry the holistic and the traditional in a manner of speaking. And that is helping HBOs to get to set up a business that they could rely on for financial income. That doesn't mean they have to go traditional or you know, in any way, but it does mean that they have to put some kind of structure in their business so that they can rely on that income, right? Because the whole point of the book is to turn a side hustle into a successful business, right? And that means you got to put some structure in place, and that means you've got to do a few things with your taxes and your IRS and things, and you have to regularly do things to ensure you have that income, so that you can rely upon it even when you don't feel like it, you know. So yeah, it's a different mindset for sure, going from side hustle to, you know, treating it as your primary income source, because you're gonna have to oh, okay. All right. I'm being guided to say something. Oh my gosh. So last night I was watching Hoosiers. Do you remember Hoosiers?
Oh
From
my gosh.
1985?
Like the
Gene Hackman.
70s.
It's a Gene Hackman Hoosiers basketball movie. I mean, anyone my age or older probably knows of it, but it's a really motivational classic movie, a basketball movie, and he basically takes this unknown basketball team to the state championship, right? It's very fun and motivating. And Jerry Goldsmith did the score, and it's just a really great score. I was listening to it before I got on this call, which is why I started so strongly. So, but at any rate, what I loved about Gene Hackman, because I've seen it so many times, right? But it's been many years since I've seen it. And his approach to, you know, how you notice things differently as an adult as when you compared to when you were a kid. And I was learning so much more about the movie now compared to when I watched it years ago. And here's why I bring it up. Everybody had all these opinions about how he should run his basketball team when he first got there. And he didn't say anything. And after they got all their wind out, he said, "It's been great talking to you guys." And he just left, right? Very dramatic. But their opinions really didn't matter in terms of how he was going to build that team, right? Because everybody who had an opinion hadn't done it themselves, or they hadn't done it successfully themselves, right? So that was kind of telling, like a foreshadow. And then when he did start building the team, he started practicing with them, and he was emphasizing all these principles, the fundamentals and defense and different things like that. And during the practices, and he worked those boys really hard during the practices. And one of the boys said, "When do we get to scrimmage? When do we get to play basketball?" And he said, "We're not gonna scrimmage. We're not gonna play basketball right now. We're focused on the fundamentals." Right.
Mm-hmm.
So he had the guys working on everything but shooting for a while. And it wasn't fun. It was very much principled. So, and then he ended up building a very brick, he said, "I'm going to tear them down and build them back up." Right. And then he built this amazing team that was really focused on the fundamentals and the principles of the game. So why do I bring up that amazing story? Well, because when you are going from a side hustle to a solo income business, you are going to be putting in an unprecedented amount of effort. Number one, you're going to treat it like a job, except there's no employer but yourself holding you to the standard to show up. So what do you do, though, in a business? If you don't know this, if you've never built a business before to that level, I'll give you a tip. You're going to be putting in a lot of time on your fundamentals and defense before you get a return, before you get the wins, and that's going to mean going to the networking meetings routinely. It's going to mean working on your website. It's going to be all the important things that Butts and Seeds 2 says to do. You're going to be doing routinely for months on end, because that type of immersion is necessary to get yourself into a working rhythm that's going to produce the results, right? Which is a far cry from, "I'm going to post something on Facebook and see if somebody responds," right? That's an okay first step, but I'm just pointing out how your fundamentals and your principles and acting on habit consistently makes all the difference in the world. And then the wins come later as a result of all of the good habits that you're cultivating. It's just like going to the gym. I use that gym analogy a lot. You go for a while. It's going to take months before you start looking different. But if you go routinely,
tell me about it. God. Todd, on the other hand, 2 months. He's like a Greek god. I'm like, where does all this pooch come from? Sorry, just thought I'd interject. For my girls holding it down out there.
But if you go routinely, you can get great results in time. Kira?
I'm reminded of last week when we were talking about how important consistency is, right? And I think also just the emotional roller coaster here of, I'm doing all these things, I'm trying this, and like Kira, you're sort of illustrating, I'm seeing other people's successes. What we don't see is all of what they did to get to that point where it looks like all of a sudden they're booming, right? Yeah. So I often will refer to it as the teething period, where the pain of what we're putting in is bigger than the reward at this point. And I think it's so important at that point to just kind of anchor back into that idea of it's about habit. It's not about outcome yet. It's about setting that foundation, right? And I love the comparison to the movie because it is drilling. We're drilling ourselves a bit differently, right?
Yeah.
And when the stakes are a little different, those drills are now integrated into what we do, right? In times of pressure or stress, we are going to revert back to what our conditioning is. And so consistency starts to change what our capabilities are at that point.
Thank you, Sally. I love that comment. It's bringing up another analogy, which happens to be basketball again, but I promise I don't have like a thing for basketball. I do. That's just what's on the brain. Jeffrey Gitomer, awesome guy, a lot of great books, kind of specializes with really authentic selling and things like that. I remember one of his quotes from one of his books was he had the opportunity to have dinner with a famous basketball coach and was wanting to learn whatever he could, right, from someone with such skill. And I'm paraphrasing it, but basically the coach said, I don't know if they were on the court or he was talking to them, and he's like, see that? And he like showed a guy giving a player doing a basketball shot from a certain spot. It was a very easy shot, right? He said, see that? He said, that's how 90% of basketball games are won. And then Jeffrey Gitomer had some commentary to it, which amounted to this. It's about getting really simple things done and doing them consistently, right? It's not about the flash. The flash can't be fabricated all that often, right? It wouldn't be flashy because of how often you'd be doing it. But, it's more dramatic, right? It's more exciting. But even that famous coach said 90% of games are won with this shot, which is so simple. Why was that important? Because it was something he emphasized that players needed to be able to get really, really good at because it made the most difference. So it came from drilling and doing that basic thing, that basic maneuver over and over and over again. It's not sexy. It's not exciting. But it mattered. It definitely mattered. So yeah, there's that.
I love that. I absolutely love that. That paints such a good image of all of what we sort of lose sight of. Right? That flash, there's sort of this. Did we freeze?
I think we're okay.
It looks like it's back. Okay, good. Excellent. Sorry about that. But, I think there's sort of this excitement and engagement, the flash, right? The dramatic qualities to it. But those things are only possible when we've gotten those foundational pieces in. Those simple pieces are part of what allow us to reach those points of flash, drama, and I even want to call it theatrical at times. But the way I talk about it is also in terms of sustainability, right? It's a lot easier to make those 1% changes and stack them on top of each other, right? Those simple things, getting them down, it makes it so much easier to then, as we zoom out, well, now I've made all this progress, as opposed to stops and starts, right? With those bigger, flashier things, because we can't be as consistent with those. Ultimately, we go less far with that over the longer haul. And any kind of business, holistic or otherwise, is about the longer haul.
Yeah. Yeah. And if you want to create a sustainable income that you can rely on, we're talking about long haul.
Yeah.
If you'll allow me to switch to a different sport for an analogy.
Oh my God.
Todd, I'm tempted to ask you for a blog post on basketball movies, but we can switch sports.
Well, what's happening is that it's occurring to me to make the same point a number of different ways to reinforce its validity. So if you think about the movie Moneyball, which is a lot more recent of a movie, Brad Pitt, Jonah Hill, is that right?
Yes.
Jonah Hill played Peter Brand. He was this economist that he worked with Brad Pitt to re-engineer his team. Brad played Billy Bean, and this was a real life story. And he needed to. He had no money. He had very little money for his team, but needed to re-engineer his team. So he hired Peter Brand, and Peter Brand had an economist background. And one of the best quotes from Peter Brand, played by Jonah Hill, was, "The goal shouldn't be to buy players. What you want to buy is wins. And to buy wins, you have to buy runs." So they engineered a way to get runs. They got the best players. They found opportunities where other people weren't seeing them, because other people were drawn to the flash, the big hitters who could hit the ball on field, and they were great, but they were also super, super expensive. But there was a lot of opportunity in players who were not stars. There was a lot of opportunity for people who were not stars, but did have, according to statistics, did get on base a lot with their hitting, for example. And that's how they ended up re-engineering their team, which gave them more consistent runs, which created them into a winning team. So it wasn't about the flash. It wasn't about how grandiose they made themselves appear to be. It was about finding opportunities in what in the players who did their best, just doing the most basic things like getting on base. So this should be a huge confidence builder to HBOs, because you don't have to be anything more than what you are. You can just leverage what you have. You already know what your strengths are. It's the things that you feel good about, and it's the things that you do well. And you just start implementing the things from Butts and Seats 2, and you start doing them consistently, little by little, adding them in a little bit at a time, and then watch how that changes your business's batting average. Thank
I love it.
Bring that home. Just bring that right on home.
And Kira, you actually illustrated that with your story about the moo, right? The Flash was this amazing free vacation, all tourist style, right? But really, it was like what you needed and what's gotten you through, and how much time since then it's still your tried and true. Mm-hmm. It's just being comfortable and having this thing that lets you kind of flow. So I love it.
Yeah, I try not to schedule anything on launch day. I try to be home and rested and feeling good. And by the way, I do launches not just for our book, but all of our authors' books. We do a launches, or if they do an add-on or that kind of thing. And that day is committed to their launch. That first day is committed to their launch, just to make sure there's no problems, there's no bugs, that I need to contact KDP. I speak their language. And so I'm very committed to that day with them. And often it's at midnight the night before. Like last night, I was up making sure everything was working properly. So it is something that's really important to me, because I know how stressful it is. I know how scary it is for authors when they're like, I've contacted 100 people, and no reviews are showing, and I got it all downloaded. Why isn't anything happening? And how that feels, to know how much effort and energy is put into doing a launch, and on their part and on my part, it's a team effort that we do. And so it's really important to me to have full attention there, and not on my hairdo, and not on being dressed to the nines, and being fully fed, fully rested, and relaxed. So that's nice. Thank you for mentioning that. Yeah.
Kira, and then for the book,
I'm sorry, for the book itself, you know, like I mentioned before, there's lots of different ways to write a book. And when we were doing this one, just so you know, kind of behind the scenes in a way, is that, you know, Todd would ask me questions and he would record me. He didn't say, sit down and write this book with me, right? Because some people ask this question, how do you collaborate on a book together? How does that even happen? Well, gratefully, you know, Todd didn't say, sit down and write this book. And not he would ever say it like that. But he didn't say, write a chapter and I'll write a chapter. He just started creating it from the heart. You know, what do HBOs need? What do they need to know? What worked for us? What didn't work for us? What sabotaged us? What really made us successful? And so instead of him trying to make me fit into, you know, things, he said, I need your answer on this. Can I record you for 15 minutes and, you know, just take down what you have to say? And it was so funny because I was listening to the book, you know, because I have my own little programs and things. And I was listening to the book and I was like, oh my God, that's an amazing point. And then I realized that it came from me. And I was like, God, that is really good information. I'm so glad someone said it finally.
I'm actually envisioning this process happening, like, Todd, with you at a basketball, like one of those basketball hoops in the driveway. I'm sort of envisioning it that way. I don't know. It's sort of the big part of what's coming across is like there was sort of a co-creation here, right? Where it's not just, you know, what are my words here versus like what are Kira's words here. But, you know, I think that's one of the things that stood out for me when I was approached for writing the foreword, is having had this connection with you guys, especially on the launches and especially in the process of like, as we're going through the writing and just remembering the deadlines and pieces, is that there is such a distinct presence each of you bring, and also just this cohesiveness that the two of you offer, that really, like, had I not had that, it would have felt a bit different for me. So I love that you're speaking to how that shows up in the book as well.
Thank you for saying that.
Kira does a lot.
Yeah.
Kira does a lot, and she ties it all together with these book launches and does all the prep work, stuff that I don't even see and don't know to check on because it's not my part of the business. But even when I'm trying to do it, like for this book, which was more, I did more of writing this book and putting it together, she was still making sure that all the T's were crossed, all the I's were dotted prior to launch, things that I didn't think of to do and didn't know to do. So she does it all when it comes to getting these books to bestseller and everything, you know, even prepping this StreamYard meeting and getting the link ready to go for Sally. I was texting Sally the StreamYard link right as we were starting, like, and I was like, oh gosh, she doesn't have the StreamYard link. And then I go back in my email and see that Kira had given it to her an hour ago. So when I came back,
Thank you for that, Kira.
Sally was already in the waiting room, and I was like, oh, perfect. You know, so Kira, yeah, absolutely. And
thank you.
yeah, I mean, yeah, I can't reach you ladies if I tried. I got to jump and hop, and it's, you know, the pedestal that you're on is untouchable. So yeah.
That's very kind of you, but you know, I think that says a lot also about you, Todd, right? What you do contribute to the team and what you do bring to the table. Don't discount that. And I think especially, you know, sort of that sense of acknowledging what Kira does and has been doing. One of the reasons you guys just rock so well, as, you know, I think of you as community leaders, and I hope that you join me in that, But I also think of you as people who've been HBOs and are HBOs, right? You guys have worked as a team to figure out those pieces because you've created room and space for each other and for both of you. And that's not easy. That's often a space where, we're in the trenches with each other. We see a lot more and we connect in a different way. So just commending you guys for that. And also for like the courage to have that be seen within your community as well. So I'm going to, if it's okay, I have a fun question for you both. I'm going to kind of preface it with every so often I pull out a magic wand sort of moment. And if I were to have a magic wand and wave it, and we were to zoom out a year from now, and a couple people have approached you at this point, each of you, to talk about the book and sort of thank you for what it's helped them bring into their HBO. What would you want to hear that would show you that this book has kind of served in the way that you've hoped it would?
I like that question.
Thank you.
Shall I answer or answer first?
Whatever you want. I can answer first, and then I'll answer. I'll say it will feel like a success to me if more HBOs are getting out there and talking about their work with people that are outside of their traditional circles. That will feel, and I hear them come back and they go, "Oh my gosh, that wasn't that hard. Oh my gosh, that was so easy. I didn't realize it was going to be so easy." You know what? I was willing to take the step, and it kind of was scary at first, but then I realized that we're all just the same people and we all need the same stuff. And, I didn't have to hard sell them on anything. I just needed to show them what the benefits were. And they just came right into this, and they're healing and they're feeling better and they're getting more confident and they're getting clearer about themselves and their bodies and their minds, and their families are healing, and tragedies and horrible things that have happened in their lives are starting to transform as a result of me just going to a little networking meeting. And, thank you for making that easier for me. That would feel like a success in my heart.
Kara, I love that. That reminds me of last week we were talking a lot about networking in our conversation. So that's awesome. Thank you.
Well, Kira said what I was going to say, so no, I can say something else. It would feel like a huge success to me if HBOs who have the intention to do better actually are doing better because they have the information to do better. This isn't meant to sound like a criticism at all, but I think there are so many offerings out there that help HBOs to feel better, but not necessarily do better.
So true.
And that serves a purpose, because when you feel better, you can be inspired, and then you can do better. But sometimes inspiration wears off. Sometimes inspiration doesn't lead to getting grounded in the physical actions, business actions that need to be done consistently over a very long period of time, which is going to lead to success. And that's what this book offers. Whereas if you're just feeling better for a little while, that can inspire you, and maybe you can really leverage that to help yourself. But once you come back to homeostasis, once you come back to your normal day-to-day mindset, what has been put into place to ensure that you are going to be leveling up consistently, So I think the lack of consistent actions is something that really can be emboldened, things that can be emphasized for HBOs, right? Because I mean, all my books say things that HBOs need to hear, but don't necessarily want to hear. And it's not my intention to upset anyone. It's my intention to give them real answers, the best way I know how, and in ways that I don't think are getting done by other people necessarily. So, in my opinion, the best reason to write a book is to give information to people that they don't already have, or they're not easily able to access elsewhere, right? Or the channels that they are and the tribes that they're currently in may be helpful, but maybe helping them to feel better, but not necessarily helping them to do better. And granted, not everybody wants to make money in their business. Not everybody wants to build it to a solo income where they can rely upon it financially. So that's understandable. There's probably going to be a small percentage of people who actually do this to the solo income status. But there's going to be a huge percentage of HBOs who do better just as a result of applying a few ideas from here. Like I know people who have, for example, I know HBOs who have physical spaces, office spaces, and they're good at managing their money and making sure that they have the money to justify having the space, that kind of thing. And if they just go to the hosting events chapter, I mean, that chapter alone can transform how they utilize their space to be more financially successful in their businesses. And that's just doing your space. That's not even really working with clients. It's just strategizing. It's more networking based than anything. So at any rate, I just wanted to say, I feel like if HBOs are doing better in their businesses, and they're doing more of this stuff a year from now, and they're experiencing the success, the stability in their businesses, and I think more personal self-confidence as a result of doing things that make them do better in business, I would consider that a huge success, because it'll help them to get out of the pattern of feeling better and then coming back to homeostasis, and then feeling better, and then I want to get inspired so that I do better, but then it comes back to where I started, inspired to feel better, and then I come back to where I started, because they may not have known the best things to do for the best results over the long term. And none of us do until we learn them, right? None of us know what the right things are to do. We're just trying our best to feel better and to do good things, hoping that the mud is going to stick to the wall and stay stuck, as opposed to us losing motivation and feeling like we're having to start over again, time and time again. That's what I wanted to eliminate by writing this book, is to get people out of old patterns and to help them to start experiencing the kind of success that they want for themselves and that they deserve.
Wow.
Not bad, Todd.
I slap a little bass.
I do too. I really do. Oh my God. You have it all. You do inspire, but you do so in plain language that everyone can understand. You make actionable steps easy, and being consistent is just who you are naturally. So teaching someone how to do that is just a natural part of your gift, one of the gifts that you give this world. So, and your encouragement along the way, which I think, sometimes people may not see that, as you are one of the most encouraging people that I know. You are so consistent. You consistently encourage people, and you don't blame them if they aren't quite getting to that step that they could be at. You just go, hey, tomorrow's another day. Hey, we've got time. Something, you just keep putting one foot in front of the other, even if it's a baby step. And I think that that's one of the gifts that you have, and it's communicated in this book for sure.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Yeah.
I couldn't have said that better, Kira. I'm really moved. You know, and my heart feels very full, and you just spoke to that so beautifully.
Oh, speaking of which, guys, if you want to get in touch with Dr. Sally, please go out to her website, drsallinazari.com, and check out her offerings. You can also do /Serenity. You still have that going on.
Thank you.
So, and go and check her out. And because clearly she's got the goods, right? Like if you need help, you've got something going on in your life, in your experience, and you want to get clear, Dr. Sally is the person you want to talk to.
Thank you.
Please work with Dr. Sally as a personal favor to me. I think it would make my day. It'd make my day. She's got it. She's got it.
Oh, thank you.
She's got the goods. She's got it. Oh, baby, she's got it.
Yeah.
That was the 80s, right? Not the 70s, not the 90s, right? So we're hitting a couple of the decades, but thank you guys for sharing. And as a personal favor to me, honestly, I wish I had a book like this when I started my practice.
Me too.
Yeah. So please, just in terms of enhancing our world, as a favor to me, get this book, download this week for that promotional Audible option, and then make sure you have that signed copy as well, so that you have that kinesthetic piece. Awesome.
Thank you. All right. How do you feel? We feel complete?
Yes. I just want to wrap this up by giving thank yous to the people who have downloaded and posted their reviews. I want to give a big thank you, a shout out once again. There's going to be a lot more in the future, but because we're still early in the day, and Amazon, sometimes your review may take a few days before it shows up on Amazon, in case you're monitoring it. And if you did do a review and Amazon doesn't allow it to be posted, sometimes, although rare, that happens, and there's nothing we can do about it. And I want to say thank you regardless if that happens, to where you posted your review and for some reason it just doesn't get posted live, which is rare, but it is possible. So thank you regardless for your effort there. And I just want to say thanks to the reviews that have already shown up, from Joseph McGonigal, sorry, Susan, sorry.
Oh, God. Hit your mute button.
Sorry about that. Joe McGonigal, McMonigal, Susan Ray, Nikki Kuborlis, April Chambers, Gigi Rush, Tammy Coyne, Georgia Ryle, Chris Workman, Carrie Glazer, Laura Rudisil, Linda Ballesteros, Beth Eiglarsh, Janet Zavala.
Wow.
Did I say Tammy Coyne?
Yeah.
Gigi Rush and Carson McDonough.
Wow.
Yay.
That's
Awesome.
amazing. We're all like, that's a lot to the goal. We're almost to the goal.
Thank you, everyone, for that. Yeah.
Butts and Seats, if you can't for some reason get the review up, or Amazon immediately rejects it or whatever, you can go out to Goodreads. Here's a link. It's going to be in this video here instead of this kind of gobbledygook one. We can also go to Goodreads and search Butts and Seats 2. I will say this: if you go and search Butts and Seats 2 on Amazon, there is a lot of butt cushions that come up. So make sure you do Butts and Seats 2 Todd, Todd. You'll just get the book then if you're doing this search.
Yeah, either way, whether you get the book and or are misled to a butt pad, either way, you're going to be spending the day more comfortably.
It's a win. It's a win. I love this. This has been so fun. Thank you for having me.
It really has been. And, I'll just make a plug here for a quick moment, if that's okay. Having had a sense now of just the process, this creation process for you guys, and also just the launch process, I really want to invite anyone who's thinking about getting started with writing to just come in on the next collaboration. It's such a beautiful way to kind of get going. And if you've already been writing, what a wonderful offering with synchronicity. So just an invitation to everyone listening, viewing, get going with a collaboration. Work with Todd and Kira. It's amazing. It's a lot of fun. And what an encouraging way to get started, right? Especially so if you're a first-time collaborating author.
Yeah. Well,
thank you for letting me make that plug for you guys.
Thank you. And Dr. Sally is proof in the pudding. She's done collaboration books with us. Now she's going to be doing her solo book with us. I've almost got your author box ready because I did a little fun author box for our new authors to just welcome them, into the fold as being a solo author. So that'll be getting out to you soon. We have another one thing that I'm waiting on to put in your box.
Thank you.
And I got a couple other ones that are going out this week too. So
yay.
I would love to see more people sharing their wisdom with the world. And if we can get you in this way to just show you that it's not scary, it's not hard, and to have that encouragement, this is why we do this, truly.
And Carson says, indeed, Dr. Sally, just a great way to get started as a writer.
Yes. Beautifully said, Carson.
She said she is, what did she say? Oh, shoot. She said something else about, she's hooked now. So
I'm glad, Carson. That's really, it's a good thing to be hooked on, right? And it helps us grow in so many ways, both individually and within just this community supporting each other.
I may be a new author junkie.
Yes.
Do it. I want you. I want you in everything. And Kim said, thanks for the excellent birthday gift for the Audible. It's a discount, and the once you've downloaded a copy of the ebook, you can get the Audible version for $1.99, and we can also do a signed copy for you. So very exciting. We've got a lot of signed copies to get out there as we go. So we've already put in our book order. We should get that on Friday. And then I'll be sending them out probably next week, hopefully.
Awesome. I was going to comment on that, and you covered it. Beautiful.
Done.
All right. Do we feel like we're at a good stopping point?
Yes.
I guess we'll stop.
All right.
Again, I just want to thank you guys for, I'm sorry, I'll let you go. I just wanted to thank you guys for, the invitation to join you in sharing this beautiful offering with such a meaningful community to do so. And then especially for letting me be here to celebrate with you guys. It's meant a lot to give more insight into what readers are in for. So thank you guys again.
Very welcome. Thank you.
All right. Thank you both, ladies. Thank you, Sally, for being here, supporting us with this book, just going above and beyond. Thank you, Kira, for everything you have done to support the book, to get it out there to everyone. Really appreciate you. Remind me to give you a big kiss after we're done. And I think I owe you a massage too, don't I?
Yes. Yeah. Yes, you do.
Kira gets neck issues from time to time, so I work them out for her whenever needed. So
we watched a YouTube video.
Yeah. I'm turning into quite the little massage therapist. But at any rate, thank you everyone who's watching. Thank you everyone who will watch this. Again, downloading the book by itself from today through the 21st of September is enough. If you want to ask people to do that, that does help the book. If you want to write a review in addition to that, you're definitely welcome to. It's much appreciated. Again, this has been so great. I really appreciate everybody's support with this. Everybody who has joined the group, everybody who has made an effort to invite other people to the group that I don't know. Thank you for doing that as well. And thank you to the people I don't know who have come in wanting to support the group and wanting to support the book. I really appreciate you. And if you want to stay in touch with me and Kira, definitely stay with asyouwishpublishing.com or go to our writers group on Facebook, which is asyouwishpublishing.com/groups/ Nope.
It's facebook.com/groups/as-you-write.
Okay. Group/as-you-write. Got it. And that's it.
All right.
We will get off the air. Sally, we'll chat with you just in a moment after we get off the air, just to give our profound thanks once again and just fawn over everything that you've done for us. And, thank you. Thank you again, bottom of my heart, to everybody involved with this book. Thank you, Kira. Thank you, Sally. Thank you, all the people downloading the book. Thank you, all people who are reviewing the book on Amazon. Let's have a great launch.
Yes. Woohoo!
Woo!
Bye-bye, everybody. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.